to such extent, of course, that it does not cross the threshold of irrationality. But our questioning has been consistent from the start of this debate until the end. Firstly, what exactly is irrational, and when is fear not rational, especially when we're talking about threats to your lives? What makes fear, or what makes a certain sense of panic, or a certain small sense of panic, not rational in this regard? But we told you that if you want to garner sympathy, as they told us they did, then images are the most potent. Because people die all the time in earthquakes, buildings collapse all the time. It is the imagery of planes hitting a building and crashing and burning down that tells you that this is something different. And that's what wins. That's what's most important when two values are in a balance. Like in the case of the Patriot Act, which they brought up, when values like freedoms and values like state protection were in a balance, it was emotional resonance that tipped the scale. It was emotional resonance from these kinds of images that told the American people to decide which do they want. But furthermore, on the idea of panic and disorder ensuing, the question we asked first was really, what exactly do they mean? Will people rally in the streets? Will people burn down houses? I don't know. They never came up exactly what they mean. But they also told you that showing that it would ensue, where was it likelier? Where was it likely that the terrorists would win in making the people of a country fear their government or feel a sense of lack of confidence in them? When the people know exactly what they're supposed to know, or when people realize that their government is hiding something and that they accidentally stumble upon it in some underground way. We see that it is important to promote a counter message to gain supporters for protection of the people. And we say that on the issue of responsibility and effects, that our side wins this debate. Thank you.
The speaker spoke for 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Now to close the case for the proposition and the debate as a whole, I call upon
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, the essence of today's debate was understanding which side really promoted social peace and stability, which side really wanted to fight the war on terror, ladies and gentlemen. And in this debate you had two sides. The opposition, which argued that we would have a world where people panic, where people let their emotions cloud their rationality, where terrorists achieve their aims by seeing their videos aired on mainstream media. Whereas you had the opposition side that wanted people to make rational decisions, that wanted to protect people from graphic images of blood spills and beheadings. So, ladies and gentlemen, we see the answer is clear, and South Korea should take this debate. But, ladies and gentlemen, after 6 riveting speeches, today's debate basically boils down into 3 major issues. Firstly, the impact of graphic images. Secondly, the issue of responsibility of media and government. And thirdly and finally, how reporting images affects the terrorist movement. So starting on to the issue of the impact of graphic images. Now this was a point that South Korea repeatedly emphasized, which Team Philippines never really dealt with adequately. We talked about how graphic images impact the people's minds, how the impressionable youth is easily swayed by graphic images. We talked about the importance of graphic images in promoting emotions. And I quote the last speaker of Team Philippines. He said that emotions promote hate. This is precisely what we on South Korea were pounding upon, ladies and gentlemen. Because when you're filled with hatred, it's difficult to make an informed decision. We say, ladies and gentlemen, that when you're emotionally charged with hatred and anger, it is impossible to pass an act rationally. We told you that paranoia and fear is unhealthy for these people. And we gave you the excellent example of the Patriot Act and the war on Iraq, in which people made irrational decisions and later on regretted hugely, as the United States is doing right now. But moving on to the second issue, about the responsibility of the media and the government. And it seems that both sides had a general consensus that media should be informing people in the most rational way possible. Now, we told you that that the media is not supposed to arouse support for a certain political agenda. We talked to you about how the media twists graphic images in order to promote a national agenda, such as the United States did after the War on Terror in promoting their own agenda in the War on Terror by showing images of Americans dying. We say, ladies and gentlemen, that when you show beheadings and assembly lines of carnages, the people cannot get a rational decision. And the media's responsibility is not to make the people emotional, but to make people be able to digest the informed facts properly. But moving on to the third and final issue, about how it affects the terrorist movements. Now, this issue was never really analysed by Team Philippines, even though it was the most important substantial matter coming from Team South Korea. We told you, ladies and gentlemen, how terrorists crave for publicity. They want their voices to be heard, ladies and gentlemen. They want society to be plagued with fear and anger and hatred, ladies and gentlemen. And when we air this on mainstream media by graphic images, this only promotes the terrorists' agenda, ladies and gentlemen. Team Philippines themselves mentioned how terrorists publish their images on their websites. This is adequate proof, ladies and gentlemen, that shows that terrorists want to use the media as a medium in making general panic in society. We brought you the example of anthrax, ladies and gentlemen, a medium which terrorists used in order to bring the public into panic, ladies and gentlemen. This issue was never dealt with. So we in South Korea believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the media has the responsibility to keep society organised, that the government has to limit information to disrupt social order and when it feeds into the terrorist movement. The definition of war on terror, ladies and gentlemen, is fighting terror, not propagating terror, ladies and gentlemen. So our first speaker explained to you how the media reports only feeds into the terrorist movement. She also explained how it generates unnecessary panic and fear to society. Our second speaker explained to you how certain media reportings and graphic images propagate political agenda. We as a team proved to you that we have to draw a line between rational, informed decisions and unnecessary emotional reactions. It's on these grounds on which I'm very proud to propose this motion. Thank you.
4 minutes and 10 seconds.